filled it in. No time for that doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take a few to lose. Built to win, applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Oh, you on mute.
There we go. Acting crazy. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Unfazed featuring your boys, JJ and AJ. And Joe, it's been a little minute. A lot has happened. The last time that people saw us, we were predicting that the Spurs would win the NBA Finals. If I'm not mistaken, we both picked the Spurs to win in 5 or 6 games, if I'm not mistaken. But as we know, like I said before, a lot has happened since that time. The Knicks are now the 2026 NBA champions. They won the series in 5 games. Shout out to the Knicks. That's what this whole episode is about. We're talking about the finals. We recapping the finals. We're giving our takes on the finals, individual players, what it means for players' legacies. Do we look at players differently? What may have cost the Spurs the series? What helped the Knicks win this series? There's a lot to get into. But before we get into all of that, it's been a minute. JJ, Joe Jordan, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Not as good as the Knicks, though. Congrats to New York and the New York Knicks. They deserve it. I'm not upset that they won. I did pick the Spurs in 6, but I'm not upset. You know, I'm more mad at the Spurs on how they handled the situation. We're gonna get to that. But shout out to the New York Knicks, man, for being resilient through this whole playoffs and getting that championship. I'm ready to roll.
100%, man. Well, let's get right into it. Obviously, like I just said, the New York Knicks, they came out on top. They are now the NBA champions of 2026. So I got to ask you, Joe, because nowadays, I don't know what it is, man. Nowadays, we just act like championships are easy to have, you know. We just act like anybody could go out there and win a championship. I mean, we see it in the NFL all the time. It don't matter if you win a championship. Apparently, you're still not good, right? I just saw analysts, you know, on Get Up the other day, not going to mention his name, just say that the NBA Finals, Larry O'Brien is a participation trophy because everybody can get them nowadays. There's no dynasties. I mean, people just saying anything these days, man. So I got to ask you, Joe, to you, what does this championship do for Jalen Brunson's legacy?
It does a lot for him. I mean, number one, he's the king of New York. Shout out to Carl. He said that first. He's the king of New York right now. I mean, there are other New York superstars in other sports. Jalen Brunson is the king right now. We talking about a guy, before Steph Curry, we were saying like, yo, there is no small guard winning championships being the best player on the championship team. You got Isaiah Thomas, and then Steph Curry came about. But Isaiah Thomas, he had some pieces around him. Isaiah Thomas had his moments too, though. Like Joe Dumars won Finals MVP and won in the back-to-back finals. So he wasn't like Steph Curry. You see Steph Curry, though. Steph Curry, when he won the championship, although he didn't win Finals MVP, but we all know who was the best player. And Steph Curry is a generational talent. And now we look at Jalen Brunson, a guy who this finals could have almost hurt him a little bit, in my opinion, because he struggled in this series. Now, was he clutch? Yes. Not just Jalen Brunson. The whole New York Knicks team was clutch in this whole finals run, right? His whole finals run, basically. But game 5, dropping 45 when they actually needed all 45. We talking about The Spurs came out defensively on fire, and Jalen Brunson kept them afloat throughout the whole game. He was the solo reason why they won that game 5. I mean, he put them on his back. Him and Michael Jordan are the only two players, and Giannis, that scored 50 points in a closeout NBA Finals game. So Jalen Brunson is special right now. Now, am I going to go as far as saying he's the best point guard in the league? No. Am I going to go as far as saying he's top 2? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to over exaggerate. I didn't see what the analyst said that you said about the Larry O'Brien trophy, but I will say this though. It being a new champion since 2020, I get what he's saying. What he's saying is when Kobe won championships back then, there was only Kobe and Tim Duncan. That's it. Kobe and Tim Duncan. And then Dirk just found his way in the mix in the 2010s, right? And then you got the Celtics and the Pistons. But championships were like you got held higher regard. Now, you look at SGA got a championship. Jokic got a championship. Giannis got a championship. Brunson got a championship now. Like everybody's getting one now. So the championship is not as special as it was before, because when you compare it to your contemporaries, it's like you look at SGA, he won last year, JJ Brunson won this year. I get what he's saying. But back then, if you win, you get put up. But does Jalen Brunson get put up? Or does he stay where he was? Like, where will you rank him in the point guard ranks? I mean, are you going to put him above Luka? Luka never won. But are you going to put him above Luka, though? Are you going to put him above SGA, who won last year? So that's why I feel like him getting the championship, it just made him a made man in New York. But as far as like where you rank him, I feel like he's kind of where he was before he even won. So I'm gonna let you respond to that, but that's my thoughts. But congrats to him though.
I think that I'm shocked. I'm shocked at the take, and I think that take is crazy, Joe. I think that take is crazy, Joe. I think at the end of the day, a championship is incredibly hard to win.
It is.
It's a lot of guys as a number one option that can't win a championship. Kyrie Irving as a number one can't win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Lillard as a number one can't win a championship. Donovan Mitchell as a number one, for what we've seen so far, can't win a championship. And James Harden as a number one, for what we've seen so far, can't win a championship. Allen Iverson couldn't win a championship. Charles Barkley couldn't win a championship. Now, I get it. Those eras are different. You had to go up against Kobe and Shaq. You had to go up against MJ. All of that stuff is what it is. But it's just a different era of basketball, Joe. There isn't a single team or a single player right now in the current NBA that is so dominant that they're taking the lead by storm, racking up a bunch of championships. But that don't mean that it lessens the value of the championships that you win in this era. It just means we have multiple different greats within this era. Okay. Jokic can hang with them guys back in the day. SGA can hang with them guys back in the day. Giannis can hang with them guys back in the day. Every champion that we've seen over the last probably, 8 years, since 2018 or 2020, our champions are not only championship teams, but championship players that can hang with those guys in the 2000s and the 1990s. I truly believe that, and I believe Brunson is one of those guys. The thing I like most about Brunson is what's not being talked about enough. It's that leadership intangible, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It's that leadership intangible that not everyone has. That's why I give him a ton of credit for this championship. Them boys was down double digits every game of the finals. And if we being honest, and I'm going to say this to start the show, you can't convince me that talent-wise, the Spurs ain't better than the Knicks. You can't convince me talent-wise. Now, I'm going to get into the Spurs in a second. Believe me, I'm going to get to them in a second because they made a lot of critical errors that could have swayed this series the other way easily. Them boys young over there, and we're going to get to them in a second. But if we just talking talent, pure talent, looking at Wemby, looking at De'Aaron Fox, even though he obviously did not have a great series, looking at Dylan Harper, the way that young brother can play, looking at Stephon Castle, they got a squad over there, 6th man of the year. They got his team over there. So this is how I look at Jalen Brunson. Number one, I believe Jalen Brunson, if he is not the greatest Knick of all time, he's at least top 2 Knick of all time with what he just accomplished. Number one, I think when you get a championship, on top of the accolades that you already have, he's a multiple-time All-NBA player. He's a multiple-time All-Star already. Now you have an NBA championship and an NBA Finals. The numbers are going to add up because you're going to end your career probably averaging upwards of 22 points a game, maybe probably about 6 assists. I got to look at the numbers off the top of my head, but that's probably where you're going to end up when you add that championship to the resume in the way that he won, right? I think at the end of the day, Joe, this puts him in Hall of Fame consideration. Mm-hmm. If he continues at this trajectory, he don't have to win another championship. He ain't got to win an MVP, but this is what puts you in that class, in that category. I could say the same thing for Karl-Anthony Towns. Mm-hmm. Can't deny the numbers. Karl-Anthony Towns good for 20 and 10 at least. And then when you add this in, now you're a champion the way you did it in New York City, like that's going to put him in that conversation as well. And so overall, for Jalen Brunson's legacy, I can't look at him the same way I did before he won a championship. Now, you're right. Am I going to say he's better than SGA? No. But outside of SGA, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at this point. I'm not sure. Steph Curry is Steph Curry. He's great, but Steph Curry is on his way out the door. That's just a fact. Luka is great. Luka is not the type of leader that Brunson is, and Luka is more of a liability than Brunson is. Luka, again, we know how I feel about Luka. I'm a Laker guy. I love Luka. His ceiling is higher than Brunson. His skill is higher than Brunson. But the way he had these Knicks playing in his finals, coming back from down double digits every single game, it's a special type of leader that does that. Shout out to Mike Brown as well, because Mike Brown was making adjustment after adjustment. So shout out to Mike Brown as well. But at the end of the day, it takes a certain type of leader to keep your team engaged. And let's not forget, like you said, he struggled most of the series. He turned up in the game. They was down 29 and led them back with OG Anunoby. He was the guy who kept them in the game, I believe, in the second quarter going into the third. He was the guy that kept them alive. And then game 5 with the 45-point game. I think most points on the road since MJ in a closeout. Nah, I can't look at Brunson the same. I can't. He a champion now. I don't care how you win that championship. You the number one guy on a championship team. I got to look at you different. So that's just how I feel about it. I think it does a lot for his legacy.
All right. Number one, he was a Hall of Famer before he even won a championship.
I don't know about that.
Think about AJ. Think about it. He's a champion in college.
Okay.
He's a multiple All-NBA player. And he's up there with playoff stats and all that stuff with the Knicks organization alone. He was going to get in the Hall of Fame.
I don't know, bro. I don't know about that.
Chris Webber's in the Hall of Fame. You don't think Brunson could get in the Hall of Fame? Think about that. Chris Webber's in the Hall of Fame, bro. So Brunson was already a Hall of Famer. Number 2, Cat, that's different. Cat got a championship. He's in the Hall of Fame automatically because I think he won Rookie of the Year. And he's an All-NBA player, multiple All-NBA player. And the man is a champion now. So he's going to be – it don't take a lot to get in the Hall of Fame in the NBA. NFL is different. Also, Brunson, to me, only thing changed with Brunson is that he got a ring on his finger. Brunson has never folded in the playoffs. Brunson, what we saw in last night, game 5, we've seen that from Brunson. The problem was they had their wrong head coach. Tom Thibodeau used to run them boys to the ground. Mike Brown came and changed everything, used Cat differently and everything. So everything I heard you say was this: he's the greatest Knick of all time. Mm-hmm. That's really the major difference of him winning the championship. It kind of
number 2 point guard in the current game today.
I don't think you are ready. So if we do a rank right now, you're going to say that he is above Luka right now.
I'm right now off it, bro, Joe.
I'm listening.
We cannot. Okay. Maybe this is a personal take for me because you know how I feel about Jalen Hurts. You know how I feel about.
You got to represent your boy.
So it's like you see. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's football season already for me mentally. You know what I mean? But this is just how I see it, Joe. Especially when you're the number 1 option on the championship team, and so many other guys don't have that hardware in their trophy case. We cannot start to make it a thing because we seeing different guys win the championship. We can't act like winning the championship is a casual thing, bro. The ultimate goal in sports is to win the championship. That's what I was raised on. That's my pops teaching me sports. Hey, what's the most important thing you could do? Win a championship. That's the most important. You can win MVPs. All that is cool. It adds to the resume. Everybody wants those individual accolades too. But as the guy, a LeBron, a Kobe, a MJ, a Luka, a Steph, a SGA, a Jalen Brunson, whoever, you want to lead your team to a championship, especially if you're the number one guy. You can't look at a guy the same exact way you looked at him after he's won a championship. I don't think that's fair. At that point, if that's the case, what's the point of winning a champion? If it's not going to do anything for you, what's the point of winning a championship?
I'm not saying done nothing, but it don't move the needle a lot. Because I'll give you an NFL example. How about this?
Okay.
All right. Do you honestly think Jalen Hurts is the second best quarterback in the league?
Currently, no.
When he won a Super Bowl, do you think he was the second best quarterback in the league?
No, but I think it catapulted him to top 5 conversations, though.
Okay, but did you put him over Josh, like a Lamar or Josh Allen, something like that?
At that time, no, I didn't.
You did not, but none of them dudes.
But there was a difference, though. And I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do it. There was a you about to trap me. I see where this going. I see where this going, bro. All I'm gonna say is this. Because I don't want to go too deep on that. Because my dog went to a Super Bowl before the team ended up being what it was. You know what I'm saying? Before we added Saquon. But what I would say is Jalen Brunson, undersized guard in the NBA. Not a lot of undersized guards win championships. As the number one option. Not only did they win the finals, they practically swept their way to the finals. So they dominated all the way to the NBA finals. And then he took over, even though he struggled during the finals. He took over fourth quarter after fourth quarter after fourth quarter until he got it going quarters 1 through 4. I just look at that run that he just went on different. And I look at the NFL a little bit different than the NBA. I think that the gap between Jalen Brunson and SGA ain't quite the same as Patrick Mahomes to Jalen Hurts. I think Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes.
No, I'm with you.
And Lamar is like that. Like we Josh Allen, them guys like that. I got Jalen Hurts beneath those guys. I have never put him above those guys except for the 1 year 2022, but Lamar was hurt, and I always say that. I just think that gap with Brunson is a little tighter. I think that Brunson is closer to that top than Jalen Hurts is to those quarterbacks.
I agree with you on that. So here's my thing, man. All right, now, and I don't want to kill Jalen Brunson. All right, I get it. Jalen Brunson won a championship, but I'm not the type of dude just because you won a championship, which is not, it's a big thing, that I automatically put you above somebody who didn't win, because like everything matters. Like the circumstances matters, all that stuff matter. Because if we talk about Luka, I don't want to say to defend Luka. Luka has never had a team built around him like what Jalen Brunson has. Never in his whole career. And Luka has went to further heights with less talent. And the problem with Luka, and Luka is an all-NBA player first team every single year. Like you book it, first team all-NBA every single year. I think he got the most first team all-NBAs in the start of somebody's career. I think every year he's been healthy, he's a first team all-NBA. Jalen Brunson didn't win first team all-NBA this year. So like Jalen Brunson had a good team, and he has a really rounded team around him that's really good, but he is a great leader because they fight hard for that boy. But he's a bucket. I will give you that. But it just, in this day and age, having a dominant Steph Curry separating himself from James Harden and all them dudes because he was constantly winning. It wasn't because he won out one championship. When he won out one championship, people were still doubting him. Remember, people were like James Harden still better. Then he came out the next year, won MVP, broke the record, and went to the finals again. And after that, the James Harden's talks were over. I don't know if you remember that when Steph Curry first won his finals, people were still putting Harden over him. Mm-hmm. But when he went back the second time, it was like, all right, cool, we here now. Jokic got MVPs. That's kind of different. And Giannis got MVPs. Brunson got no MVPs. That's the thing about it.
But the dynamic was different for Steph. Steph made it to the finals and went up against the Cleveland Cavalier team without Kyrie and K-Love. It's not a lot of people that want to give him credit at all off that. Okay. Just off that. Like, yeah, you won, but bro, you won that game or won that series in 6 games. Bron kind of had y'all on y'all heels. Had he had all his sources, it would have looked different. Now, again, 2016, he came back with his unanimous season, and we really started to look at him different. That is not the case for JB. And the difference between Jalen Brunson and Luka, I'm drilling this home today because it's important when you consider a team that came back for 4 W's in the NBA Finals by more than double digits. As much as I love Luka, Luka don't have the leadership to pull that off 4 times. He don't. Luka get on that court, and I've seen Luka now enough for the Mavs and for the Lakers. Luka get real pouty. Luka gonna get them texts. Luka is not gonna get back in transition. He's not gonna get back on defense, and he's a defensive liability that Jalen Brunson ain't. It don't matter what's going on. Only time I seen Jalen Brunson outside of himself is when Wemby mushed him to the side. That was the one time, and when Wemby stepped under him and he came down on his ankle. That was two times in that series. Both times was flagrant fouls, right? Where I seen Jalen Brunson act outside of himself. Outside of that, you can't convince me Jalen Brunson ain't getting hacked. You can't convince me Jalen Brunson don't feel like he has some type of beef or some type of issue with the referees, with his teammates, with the opposition. He just kept hooping. All things considered, we down 10, we down 15, we down 20, we down 29. I'ma keep hooping. Y'all follow me. Luka, as much as I love Luka ain't displayed that leadership intangible enough for me. And I believe, because my take is that the Spurs have more talent than them Knicks. I know the Knicks won the series, but watching the series, can't nobody convince me that they were the more talented team than the Spurs. The difference, though, the Knicks were led by a leader in Jalen Brunson who had heart and experience. We've been here before. Continue to fight. I'm not going to let the clutch moments get to me. I'm not going to freeze up when it matters. I'm going to take over when I need to take over, and I'm going to win us this championship. So I put him in a different light because the skills are there, right? He's not a defensive liability. Like, Luka is Luka. But it's not exposed like Luka.
Yeah.
Bruh.
They were attacking him.
Let me say this. The Hawks targeted him, and then
the Spurs are just dumb. He was getting targeted.
But this is the thing, though, right? When the Mavs played the Celtics in the finals a couple years ago, my whole thing was like, I think Luka and I think Luka and Kyrie, that duo is they're gonna win. They just been playing so well in this playoffs. I can't see them losing. And shout out to Vaughn. I don't know if he's watching, but Vaughn kept bringing up the defensive side of the ball. What's Luka going to do on defense? And I'm just like, what he been doing all playoff long? You throw him in the corner against a shooter and let everybody else defend. Throw him in the corner against somebody who you ain't got to worry about scoring. Bruh, he couldn't guard Sam Hauser. Bruh. He couldn't guard the corner, man. He couldn't guard the shooter. Guys catching the ball in the corner, just rise up shooting tray balls in his face. At least you could put Brunson on champagne. But he wasn't. And when the ball gets swung, to see effort. At the very least, Luka just let guys run right by him. So I can't. I can't.
I don't know if it's me or you, but it's breaking up my end like crazy. But
I can't get winning. A championship at this level off the screen. You done popped off the screen.
Man, I think that's me. On my end, it's clear. But on your end, you're breaking up. I don't know if that's me that's breaking up. I don't know. But I heard what you said, though, man. Can you hear me? Man, I don't know what's going on. I got all my bars, my thing. I don't know if it's me or AJ. Y'all let me know in the chat if it's me or AJ that's breaking up. I have no idea. AJ, can you hear me? Oh, that's AJ. Okay, AJ messing up. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, I get what AJ's saying. Yeah, that's AJ. That's AJ. Yeah. I get what AJ's saying. You know what I mean? You know, I don't want to make this Luka versus Jalen Brunson thing. I really don't want to do that because Jalen Brunson deserves his flowers. Like anybody that I'm happy for on this Knicks team is Jalen Brunson because he is a good leader. And I agree with AJ with that. Luka shows at times that he knack at the refs too much and he don't play hard on defense. So that is something. You know, so it like I mean without I don't know, man. Like do I want to see going back to Hurts, I would feel like I'm ranking somebody above somebody just because they won. I feel like I did that with Hurts and I put him number 4 in the NFL just because his team won. Now the NFL is different. That's more of a team sport. NBA, like for example, Brunson single-handedly dropped 45. So like, would I be mad if they put him above Luka? I guess not, man, because Luka gotta feel the burn because he gotta go out and do something. He has to. Hold on, what? Trae Young plans to decline his $48 million player option with the Wizards. Washington remains a front runner to sign Trae Young to another contract, but he still expects he better sign with the Wizards after all that talk he said on all these interviews. He better resign with the Wizards. Tomo, he better. That's all I'm gonna say. All this drama with the Wizards, man. Nah, they don't know who they want to draft first round. Trae Young, nah, bro. Nah, we're not. Nah. Who would y'all say if the Wizards are the number 1 seed next year? Nah, he better resign, Tomo. He better resign, which I think he would. It ain't nothing but this news. You know, y'all news reporters in DC, they're excited they're finally in the news. So I get it. Sacramento was the same way. I felt it. But I'm not mad at AJ's take, man. I hear what he's saying. It's just like, you know, like so, like see, you can't. Are the Knicks a good team? Yes. Mike Brown, really great coach. I would know, right, as a Kings fan. But Brunson did drop 45 in Game 5. That's huge. He dropped 45, and he was clutch in Game 1. He was clutch in almost every win. Every win they had, he was clutch. So he proved to be one of the clutchest, if not the clutchest player in the NBA. So I gotta give him his flowers. I'll give it to him. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody put him at number 2, I'm not gonna be too mad, man. I'm not gonna be too mad at that. You know, because at the end of the day, winning is the main thing. Especially in the NBA, it's hard. Like in the NBA, if you win, you get all the points for that because it's not the NFL. Like NFL, when you win, it's like more of a team thing, unless you're the quarterback that's cooking. But like all year, but in the NBA, it's a team thing. Yes, sir. Right. I thought it was me, but
it looked like it was me, bro. It looked like it was me, bro. I had to swap out the laptops, bro.
You was ranting, man. He was going crazy though.
Man, I was killing it, bro. I was in my bag for a second.
But I was saying, I get what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna push back too much because I agree. Luka leadership ain't like Brunson. Brunson is a great leader. You know what I mean? They fight hard for him. And I can't put a card like, yo, which I still think he had a good team. He had a good team around him. They had experience of winning and losing together. And he had Mike Brown, but he did drop 45 in the closeout game. And he was clutch in every single one. But
we also got to think about this, Joe. He did have a great team around him. He took 113 million on the table to get that good team around him too.
Exactly. I give him props for that too. No, you're right. I give him props for that.
Again, all of that goes into that category of leadership. He did what it took to win. So I gotta give him credit.
It's more the Laker fans did that.
The Laker, yeah, facts. Laker fans like, bro, is you crazy? Lakers fans like, yo, you crazy?
I know, but I know we're gonna have to do some rankings next year. You know what I mean? But like in the R2L community, but you know, would I push back as my guy number 2? I guess not. Luka needs to feel the fire. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like everybody's winning. You know, like Brunson got a ring now. Don't get me wrong. Luka is young.
Yeah.
SGA is older than Luka. Brunson is about to be 30. You know what I mean? So like these
True.
dudes been in the league longer than Luka. So I get you on that, but Luka needs to win. He's too good to not have a championship
To
right now,
not
in my
win.
opinion. You know,
100%.
like
100%.
he's best player in the league material. Like if like Luka is one of those players, if he wins, he's gonna be the best player in the league. I feel like there's a
Yeah.
few people that have that. It's SGA, Jokic, Giannis, and Luka probably. You know, at
Yeah.
one point it was
Yeah.
Embiid. You know what I mean? And for real, Embiid. It's crazy to say if Embiid is winning championship next year, we would look at him like he's probably the best player in the league. Like he just need to be
Yeah.
healthy.
So,
So
he's just that talented. He's just that
you
talented.
know what I mean? Like Luka has a talent. If he just win a championship, he's gonna be labeled as the best player. We're not having no conversations for real. So,
Yeah.
but shout out to Brunson though. So you do think he's the greatest nigga of all time?
I do. I think if he's not one, he's two. I think he's right there.
I'm not
I
mad
think
at
he's
that,
right
man.
there.
I'm not mad. He's straight killer, bro. He's a great killer.
Yeah.
But
A lot of other Knicks legends just kind of froze up in the big moments. Now you do got the Walt Frazier's and all of them way back in the day. I mean, if you want to throw them in there, I guess. You know what I mean? Right. Shout out to them. I guess. You know what I mean? But we talking about 53 years ago, bro. Like, I mean, at this point, at some point you gotta move on. At some point you gotta move on. I mean, I'm just saying. Like
the Knicks haven't won a title since 1972.
like, bro, like, I mean, dang. Dang.
Got hurt, bro.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
What else hurt? Spurs, man. Wemby, he hurt. Gotta be hurt. Spurs went on their high horse, beat OKC, people crying and stuff, beat the defending champions in Game 7 in their home court. And they failed to get 2 wins. Sorry, they failed to get a win on their home court in the NBA Finals. People thought they would get swept. They came back and they won Game 3. And then the Knicks proceeded to win last 2 games, Game 4 and Game 5. They lose Game 5 in their home court. Watch the Knicks from the locker room celebrate on that court. Now, AJ, I'm going to ask you, this more talented team that you mentioned, San Antonio Spurs, what went wrong?
Joe, I think there are several things that went wrong for the San Antonio Spurs. I think it starts from the top down. But before I get to the head coach, because I got to talk about him for a second, we got to talk about the reaction to beating the OKC in the Western Conference Finals. I get it. I understand. It's OKC. They're the defending champions. But Wemby, in a way, and he's a young leader, but he is the best player on the team, and he is kind of their leader at this point, right? Him reacting the way he reacted, I believe it's hard to say this because the next round was the NBA Finals, but it looked like such a sigh of relief to beat OKC. And I know that that's the team you circling in the Western Conference because they just won the championship. That's the team. If we beat them, we good. We golden. But you had to know that, like Kobe said, the job wasn't finished. And there was a team in the Eastern Conference that hadn't lost a game since April, okay? There was a team that was coming into the finals red hot, looking to end a 53-year drought. So you had to know if you wanted to become a champion, the job was far from finished. So that needs to be said. I thought the reaction was a bit much. I understand letting the emotions spill over. That was what it was, right? The second thing, the coach. What is his name, Joe? I'm blanking on his name right now.
Mitch Johnson.
Mitch Johnson. I felt like made so many egregious mistakes, but I think the top 2, outside of all of the moments where he could have called timeouts in these games to settle his team down, I think the top 2 mistakes he made was not giving Dylan Harper more playing time and bringing down Wemby's playing time down a touch. I thought that there were stretches and times where he played Wemby way too much. We got to keep this in mind, right? Wemby only was playing like 25 minutes a game in the regular season, if that. Okay. So around 30 minutes. So he get into the playoffs. Now he playing 38, 39, 40 minutes. He not honestly, and this kind of falls on Wemby, but he's not necessarily conditioned for that. He could probably do that the first few rounds, but once you get to the NBA Finals or once you get to the Western Conference Finals, because we saw him getting gassed in that series against OKC, which is why we saw the ebbs and flows of his performances. Some games he just looked like he didn't have it because he was exhausted out there, right? But once you get to that stage in the finals, there comes a point in time where, hey, we're up 20. Let's take him out, rest him for 5 minutes. We're up 29. Let's take him and rest him for some of this time in the second, some of this time in the third. Heck, we up 15 to start the fourth. Let's rest him for some of this time in the fourth. Yes, the Knicks are going on the run. Heck, they went on the run anyway to win. I know hindsight is 2020, but you would have been in a better position to win had Wemby been a little bit more rested. Wemby seemed like, I heard Stephen A say this in his facts, Wemby seemed like he was at his best to start a game and coming out of halftime because he was rested. After that, once he got gassed, he wasn't the same player. And as a head coach, you're supposed to notice that. Dylan Harper is a dog. He is a dog. I understand he's young. I understand rookie, all of that. Dylan Harper is like that. Mm-hmm. There's no way, watching how De'Aaron Fox was playing in this series through and through, there is no way Dylan Harper at any point, you should have inserted Dylan Harper in that starting lineup at some point. At some point, he should have been a starter. I'm sorry, De'Aaron. You are a veteran. You are a point guard. All that is fine and dandy, bro. But at some point, bro, Dylan Harper got to start, and you got to give him the minutes that you're giving De'Aaron Fox. You got to give De'Aaron Fox some type of mental reset, because De'Aaron made mistake after mistake after mistake. And I'm not even talking about the most egregious mistake he made, where they tipped the ball to him and he tried to lay the ball up with a few seconds up when he could have ran. That was more so, in my opinion, it's going to sound crazy. I understand basketball before I say this, but that to me wasn't as egregious as him just flat out playing bad. We can't get a shot to fall. He missed some wide open shots, missing threes, turning the ball. Like, that was just the cherry on top to how he was playing in the series. Then how he played in Game 5 was even more egregious. So I thought that a lot of that falls on the coach. And again, I'm not going to harp on how many times we see, right? You have an opportunity to call a timeout to stop the bleeding, and you just let it play. Let's just let him play. Another thing, the lights were too bright for Wemby. And that's got to be said too. The lights were too bright for Wemby. And this right here is a crazy take. How many times have we seen teams just start starting lineup in the playoffs? We've seen several times. We saw, now granted, right? The coach on the other end didn't adjust his starting lineup, but boy, did he adjust them rotations quite a bit. All of a sudden, Jose Alvarado getting plenty ticked all of a sudden. Like, Mike Brown adjusted his lineups all series long. He made adjustments all series long. You telling me the Spurs couldn't? You telling me the Spurs couldn't keep a player on the floor that was hot over a guy that wasn't? That cost y'all multiple games in the series. I'm sorry to tell you. Dylan Harper should have got more playing time. But back to Wemby. The lights were too bright, right? I forgot who it was at the free throw line, missed the free throw in Game 2. Wemby get the rebound, throw the ball off the back of Stephon Castle. Turnover. Knicks get the ball back. They make 2 free throws, or make a free throw. I think they were down. I think the Knicks were down 1 at the time. It was a tie game. Whoever went to the line made a free throw, missed the second. The Spurs got the ball. I believe they called a timeout. Then Mitch finally called a timeout. Drew up a play for Wemby. Wemby took the elbow jumper, missed it. That's the end of Game 2. You can make the argument Wemby kind of sold Game 2 down the road. Then we got to look at the 29-point comeback, Joe. Now, we could talk all day long about De'Aaron Fox's mistake. And we could talk about how bad De'Aaron Fox played, because he played bad, bro. But them brothers was up 29 points, bro. That ain't all De'Aaron Fox. Mm-hmm. You boys came out halftime shooting 50, 11 threes, and I get it. They was making all them threes in the first half. But at some point, you got to see them threes ain't dropping in the second half. You got to attack the basket. You got to get to the free throw line. You got to get some easy buckets. So I can't fully fault De'Aaron Fox for real. De'Aaron Fox was a part of the issue, but I saw Stephon Castle not playing the best. I saw Dylan Harper also missing shots in that stretch. I saw Champagnie missing everything he threw up almost in the second half. I saw multiple guys not playing well. Wemby gets to the free throw line with a chance to make 2 free throws to push the game, to the distance. Wemby misses both his free throws. But I tell you what it come back to, Joe. It come back to coaching. Because I remember watching the game, Joe, and looking at Wemby at the free throw line. And Wemby got a routine at the free throw line. He get the ball, shrug his shoulders, he take a deep breath. Boy, his jaw looked like he was trembling. That man was not only nervous, he was exhausted at that free throw line. He played every minute of the fourth, Joe. He exhausted. He ain't got nothing left in the tank. So
this is game 4.
That's that game. I mean game 4. Yeah, game 4. The game they came back from down 29. That man was at the free throw line exhausted. And the last thing I'll say is this, right? I thought it was a lot of arrogance on their side too. Now, for those who don't know, I'm an avid Joe Budden podcast listener. I love the Joe Budden podcast. Me and my wife actually was just watching it before we went live, right? One thing Joe Budden kept on saying that I agree with is the Knicks are beating y'all because they have the proper respect for y'all. They know who y'all are. They know who you beat. They know what y'all went through to get to this point. If they gonna dismiss y'all and they feel a way about y'all, they ain't gonna say it publicly. They veterans. They ain't gonna do that. They gonna say it in the locker room, and then they gonna come out in these press conferences and they gonna give y'all the utmost respect, which is what they did all series long. But every time that camera turned to Stephon Castle in particular, Stephon Castle, I mean, we won game 3. I see us. We're gonna win every other game in this series, right? Coaching the team ear, telling them guys, y'all have basically determined every game in the series. Now, to Coach's credit, you got a point. You do have a point. Y'all have been up double digits every game of the series. You have a point, sir. This is something I would tell my team. Hey, we've been determining the outcome of these games. We not playing our game in the fourth quarter. I could be better as a coach. Y'all could be better as players. We are better than this team. I'm absolutely preaching that message. But I'm also making sure my players aren't going to the media and saying, yeah, I mean, we feel like we didn't determine every game in the series. The Knicks looking at y'all like, bro, what? We earning these wins. We coming back on you boys. We was just down 29. We was just down 10. We was just down 18. And at every turn, we come back and get a dub on y'all. We have the clutchest player in the league currently right now. We have an experienced veteran in Karl-Anthony Towns. We have OG Anunoby who could do some of everything on the floor right now. We have a guy in Josh Hart that'll out-hustle anybody in the league at this point. We are the team chasing the championship after 53 years. You brothers just got here. We got a lot of veterans and guys in that stands who counting on us for this. We know y'all gonna be back. Y'all gonna be back at some point. You would assume Wemby gonna get back. It's not a breathtaking take. He gonna get back, right? But this is our shot. And we gonna get to shit. They be the favorites, the Knicks and the Spurs and all that. The Knicks, it might not be the same for them brothers next year. This is their opportunity, and y'all out there kind of sleepwalking against these guys when it comes to how y'all speak about them. In the press conference. And I think it showed as well, too, at the very end when you lost and you ain't want to shake nobody's hand. And I'm kind of indifferent about that in itself, too. But it just goes to show, like, y'all had no respect from these boys from the beginning. And to my original point, before I got into this long soliloquy, y'all thought after y'all beat OKC, y'all was going to be champions. The Knicks knew after they beat the Cavs, all right, we got our work cut out for us. And that's the difference in approach, I feel like, in this entire series in the NBA Finals. So I think it falls on every level when it comes to the Spurs. Leadership, top to bottom, leaking down to the players. And it just crumbled at every turn.
So what went wrong with the Spurs? A lot. Let's start from the top. Mitch Johnson, man. I feel like he didn't do a good job in this NBA Finals. Let's start with De'Aaron Fox. Me as a Kings fan, Fox, we drafted Fox. He took us to the playoffs with Mike Brown, and we ended up trading him. So my man in the comment section, where he at? He said that, where is that? He said, you can't change the starting lineup mid-playoffs or finals, especially when every loss was so close. Well, did you forget about Iguodala get inserted to the starting lineup mid-series against the Cavaliers, and they proceeded to win every game after that? Cavs was up 2-1. They put Iguodala in the lineup, and then they won 3 straight, and then they won a championship. So great coaches make adjustments, and that's what Mike Brown does. Like I was with Mike Brown as a Kings, and like that's what he did. Like if you didn't play well, he would take you out in a heartbeat and put somebody else in. That's how he was. What Mike Brown did that was so key to the series to me was, well, first, he said, "You like Iguodala. Hey, Iguodala the champion, all right? And he a multi-millionaire." So, what Mike Brown did in this playoffs, first against the Hawks, we saw it. They was trying to figure it out offensively. I remember you came on and was like, man, Cat got to step it up. And what Mike Brown do? He changed Cat's role. He put the ball in Cat's hands. And Cat became a facilitator. The offense ran through Cat, and they blew the Hawks out, and they haven't looked back since. They wipe Philly with the floor. They wipe the Cavs. They go to the Spurs. They have the same routine. Cat plays well. The Spurs go up. Brunson clutch. Same story, right? But then, when they went up 29, what were they doing? They were running full-court defense on them boys. And the Knicks were struggling. Jalen Brunson was struggling. So what Mike Brown do? Let's put another ball handler out there with Jalen Brunson to relieve the pressure off of just one guy bringing the ball up. We're going to put in Jose Alvarado. And that was the first time in the whole playoffs that they played together on the court together. First time. So when you're a coach, you got to look at the game and scout the game and make adjustments as the game goes on. What I didn't get in Game 5 was that he kept letting De'Aaron Fox run the show. He kept doing it. It was one time in the fourth quarter when the Knicks were coming back, De'Aaron Fox took 3 jumpers in a row and missed all 3. And I'm like, bro, let Dylan Harper bring the ball up. Let him run the offense. Because when he gets the ball, he makes a good decision. He either score a basket or foul somebody. He make the right decision. And then super late in the fourth quarter, he finally make that adjustment to put Dylan Harper ball in his hands, which was too late. Now, your take about Wemby, about him being tired. I don't want to hear no excuses for Wemby. I don't care if he's year 3. I don't care what's going on with him. He talked too much. And I like Wemby, but he talked too much. And I was okay with him crying and stuff because I had a feeling he's going to get the job done. But when you don't get the job done, you look dumb. That kind of goes. If you don't get the job done, then you look dumb. But anyways, the man cried with OKC, like you said, and then we overlooked it. Because when Philly beat Boston, what did we say? Oh, that was an emotional win for them. And they carried over to the Knicks, and they were not ready for the Knicks. Because they spent too much emotion celebrating with the Boston win. We could say the same thing about them beating OKC. But I looked over. I'm like, nah, this guy actually going to help them. Because the type of leader Wemby is, he's not going to let. Man, them boys came out and lost every lead in the series. Now, in the whole fourth quarter thing, AJ, I don't want to hear he was tired. Because he wasn't tired in Game 4. Game 4, Game 3, he played the whole fourth quarter. And they won. And he closed them out. He closed them out, and they won the game. It's the NBA Finals, baby. We might need you the whole fourth quarter. What are you talking about? And look, Wemby in the NBA Finals, 26, 11, and 3. His shooting splits 42, 27, and 79. That is not good. You're a 7-4, and you're shooting 42%. You are an 88 free throw percent shooter going into the series, and you shot 79%. Are you serious? That's including 2 missed free throws in Game 4, like you mentioned. Right, when they really need it, and that's including a flagrant foul missed free throw in Game 5, and another free throw you missed in Game 5 at the end of the game when you was nervous, like you say, he was nervous. But in the fourth quarter, he averaged 7 points a game in the fourth quarter, shooting 34%, 25% from 3, 72% from the free throw line, a minus 20 in the fourth quarter. And in Game 4, he had 5 points in the fourth quarter. And Game 5, he had 3 points, AJ. 3 points. So, Miss Johnson, he gets a lot of blame. Wemby, he gets the most of the blame because he talked too big. He came out and said, I'm the best player. I should win MVP. We got the best team in the NBA. That's what he said. And then they did not prove they had the best team in the NBA because they still immature, they still learning, they still growing, they can't close. And they go back to Von point. He don't have a go-to move. He can't score, bruh. He couldn't get past nobody. When he was on the perimeter, AJ, he's either trying to giant step around you or he's pulling a jumper. He don't like. There were a couple of times he'll hit somebody with a move, but he was not consistent at all with his offensive game. The only thing that was consistent was the pick and roll out of you. That was the only thing consistent, which they didn't go to enough. That was killing me. And I remember in game 3 when they won, I kept saying, bro, go to the pick and roll. It's working. And he was going away from it. In game 5, we barely saw the pick and roll. Barely saw it. Because they can't stop it. Once he's under the basket, throw it up. It's either a foul or he's dunking it every single time. But they go away from that. So the bigger issue was Mitch Johnson, Wemby. We all know about De'Aaron Fox. And yeah, they shot themselves in the foot for real. They should have won this series, but they too immature to win because the coach is still immature too.
I think that the biggest issue was Mitch Johnson. Now, Wemby obviously deserves some blame. Obviously, he was talking big, the whole "I'm in your head," all the stuff he was doing on the court.
In your head.
Yeah, like he Wemby was doing a lot, and we respect that. But I want to, my guy Izzy, he brought up Ant-Man, and it brings me back to something that Ant-Man said in his presser after they lost. I'm not agreeing with the statement, but I'm talking about Ant-Man. It brings me back to something that Ant-Man said in his presser after they lost to the Mavs. I believe it was Dan Moore, reporter out here. He asked him, it seemed like at times, Ant, you were winded. And was it chasing around Kyrie or what, what was it? And he just flat out said, like paraphrasing, this is my first time being here. And the workout that you do in the offseason and how you prepare is a little different when you got to prepare for a late playoff run as well. So it's like the way he phrased it was like you gotta prepare in the offseason like you're gonna go on this late playoff run because you can't compare mid playoffs. You can't naturally have that win. After a while, the regular season and again, I'm paraphrasing. After a while, the regular season builds up and the postseason builds up. It was easy getting out of the first and the second round. But when you get to that third round in the finals, it kind of catch up to you a little bit. This is how I feel about Wemby, which is why I blame Mitch Johnson. We got to put things in context, Joe. This team won 30 games last year. Mm-hmm. They won 30 games last year. Wemby didn't play a lot of games. I believe he had, if I'm not mistaken, he had a blood clot. Yeah. Like, Wemby didn't play most of the season last year. So you go from winning 30 games, right, to going to the playoffs and getting to the finals in your first ever playoff appearance. Now, in the case of Brunson and the Knicks, if you Brunson, you've been to the playoffs multiple times. You've been in the first round, bounce. You've been in the second round, bounce. You've been in the third round, bounce. This is your first finals experience, but you didn't have them off seasons now. You've seen the kind of win it takes to get you to the finals. You know what it takes to get there now because you've been so close. This is Wemby's first crack at it. So I applaud Wemby and the Spurs for getting this far. But I'll say this, Joe. As young as that team was, I only brought up Wemby. They all look gas in the fourth. All of them look gas in the fourth, bro. And again, it is no excuse. I understand. It is the NBA Finals, but experience plays a part in it, bro. It plays a massive part in it. And I think in the case of the Knicks, not only did their experience play a part, not only did they have off seasons to kind of see, okay, this is the win we got to prep like we going to the finals. And this is not only do you have to know you have to prep like you're going to the finals, you have to know how to prep like you think you're going to the NBA Finals. The Knicks did a good job of getting rid of the East. So before the finals even started, we chilling, we resting, we getting our bodies ready for a stretch run in the NBA Finals. That is why every fourth quarter, them boys had legs and the Spurs didn't. Most notably, your 7'5" big man didn't have his legs in mostly every fourth quarter of this series. It's a fact. Now, how do you help that if you are Mitch Johnson? When we have these leads, this is an opportunity to rest our big man. He ain't played these minutes his entire career. Forget this year. We talking last year too. He ain't played these minutes his whole career. This is his first NBA Finals appearance. You know that, brother gassed. At some point, you got to save the player from himself, and you got to understand and see, hey, this is a good time to get him 5 minutes here. It ain't got to be crazy. It ain't got to be, 10 minutes you sit him down, but a quick 2 minutes here, 3 minutes here, 5 minutes and come sit down real quick. Come. That's how you play it to keep your guy fresh for the fourth, especially when you see you lost games 1 and 2 in the fourth. And that's my issue with Mitch Johnson. You kept losing. He lost every game the same damn way. He was stubborn with De'Aaron Fox. He didn't give his players rest, and they folded every fourth with lacks of timeout and things of that nature. That has a lot to do with coaching. And so I give Wemby a ton of blame. He missed those free throws, in game 4 that could have put them in better position to win. He was out there talking greasy, right? He had to play where, like I said, he threw the ball off the back of Castle. We didn't even talk about games 1 and 2 where Cat was having his way with the Defensive Player of the Year. We got to talk about that. He was having his way
on the perimeter
with Wemby games of the series. So that perimeter and in the paint. I mean, he was bodying them up. OG dunked on him once. Like, they was having a way with Wemby down there in the paint, so I don't want to just gloss over Wemby's bad play, but I do want to say it's his first finals, and even though I want to give the head coach that type of pass too, I just felt like game after game after game, I looked and I'm like, what is he doing? Young team. You need a coaching staff. You need a former head coach or somebody else. And I don't know who's on the coaching staff, so I'm not trying to be disrespectful to nobody, but listen, you need somebody else on that coaching staff that could tap him and be like, yo, bro, Dylan Harper needs to be in the game. Yo, bro, we might want to burn a timeout right here. Even if, right, you're not going to sit Wemby down for 2 minutes at a time, burn all your time, get him that rest. Use the timeouts as rest for Wemby. He did nothing to help Wemby. He did nothing to. You brought up the pick and roll game. Why ain't you running more pick and rolls? That can be on De'Aaron Fox, but that could also be on the coach.
That's on
timeout.
Yeah.
This is what we run in the next 3 possessions.
Call it from the sideline.
I mean, come on, bro. I mean, come on, bro. Like he was abysmal, bro. He was abysmal all series long. He got thoroughly outcoached. I think Mike Brown threw lineups out there he didn't expect. I know the Jose switch up in game 4 threw him for a loop because he wasn't prepared for that. Because you had Jalen Brunson bottled up all series long. You had a great game plan for Jalen Brunson. He was getting multiple bodies. He was getting trapped. He was getting double. I mean, they was making it hard on him. But then when you put Jose out there and he got to bringing the ball up, and you had them 2 small guards up there that helped take that pressure off Brunson. And now Brunson getting loose, he ain't know what to do. he didn't know what to do. And then we can't not say this before you move on. They also surprisingly had no answer for OG Anunoby. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
OG out there looking like Kobe, bro.
Yeah. He was hitting tough shots. He was hitting tough shots. I mean,
he was out there looking like Kobe, bro. Mm-hmm. They had no answer for OG. And that's somebody else that obviously, that was a big – they had no answer for OG. So I think it was a lot of different issues. But I do believe that if the coaching staff made proper adjustments and they did what they were supposed to do, use your timeouts, give Wemby proper rest, bruh, forget being it's so many reasons to call timeouts or to take Wemby out of the game. He's a young player. He needs rest from time to time. He ain't played this many minutes all season. This is his first NBA Finals. And there were times out there where he just looked frantic. Sometimes he need a mental rest. Come sit down, watch the game for a second. Just sit down and watch just observe for a second. Bro, let's now I get it. The Knicks might go on a little bit of a run while he's out. That's something you got to eat. In hindsight, it's 2020 because you played them all the time and it didn't work either. But you saw that games 1 and 2. You saw that method didn't work game 1 or 2. playing him all the minutes. So why not switch it up for the rest of the series?
He did that.
I could go on and on the Spurs. What was that?
In game 5, he took Wemby out with like 5 minutes left. I remember I was screaming. I was like, bro, why you taking Wemby out with 5 minutes left? And then he brought him back in the game. And then they shot free throws. He called timeout in the middle of the free throw to give him more rest. See, the reason why I'm giving Wemby most of the blame, because if they would have won, who would have got most of the credit? Wemby. So as heavy as whoever wears the crown gets the most responsibility. Now, is he young? Is he not the head coach? I agree with what you're saying with Miss Johnson. But the reason why they lost mainly is because they couldn't score. Brunson was getting buckets at the end of the game, and Wemby couldn't. Because Wemby don't have an offensive bag right now. He just don't, bro. Like, he could not score on them. When they isolated Wemby on the perimeter, he could not get past nobody. Every time he scored, he was like, he had a couple of times he had to move, whatever. But most time he scored was over lobs, alley-oops, or him just stepping around somebody. But when they like mano a mano, it was rare he got past somebody. So if he had a better offensive game, they would have won the series, bro.
Let me ask you a question, and then we can move on. Let's take Wemby. 2 different scenarios. I'm gonna give you 2 different scenarios. Wemby plays lights out, right? Like you said, he got an offensive bag. In this scenario, he has a go-to move. He killing offensively, right? That's one scenario. Or you got a scenario where Mitch Johnson is making all the right adjustments. De'Aaron Fox not playing well. We giving Dylan Harper that tick, right? I'm calling the timeouts when I need to call the timeouts, right? Wemby, when he needs a break, I'm giving Wemby the proper breaks, right? He's making all the right adjustments. He's matching everything Mike Brown do at every turn. Keep in mind, these boys had a double-digit lead every game. Which scenario results is more likely to result in the win? Wemby playing like that, or Mitch Johnson coaching his ass off?
Wemby playing like that. You know why? Because when Mitch Johnson coaching like he was coaching, it was a close game almost every game, and they did not win because Wemby wasn't in his bag. That's why. Because at the end of the day, your best players got to take you home, bro. And he did not take him home. He took him home for one game, and they actually won.
My problem is I don't think Mitch Johnson put him in. I don't think Mitch Johnson put him in a great position to take them home, and I think that's I think he's a big part of the reason why Wemby played the way he played. I think he's a big part of the reason why Wemby played the way he played.
His isolation game, bro, is not great right now. It's not elite. It's not. They put the ball in his hand a lot, and he could not score.
We also, and that's fair. But we also got to understand, again, talk about being gassed and mentally being engaged in the game, mentally being sharp upstairs. We keep talking about offense, bro. He they main defender on defense too. You gotta do everything on the floor. Only thing you ain't doing is bringing the ball up and getting everybody else involved. And I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm not saying it's an excuse. You have to do what you have to do, Joe. But if I'm a head coach, and that's fair, bro. But if I'm a head coach, and I know I need Wemby to defend at a high level, I need Wemby to score at a high level. There's no way he's still in the game when we up 29. It's no way he's still in the game. We have 15 to start the 4. This is the time to rest him, bro. Especially you see the Knicks going on. This is the time. Wemby, you're going to have to play probably these last 10 minutes of this quarter or these last 8 to 9 minutes. So I'm going to rest you to start. Get your wind. Observe the game. You got to coach. Coach. I'm hard on Wemby too, bro, but that coaching job was so abysmal. I think it's simple adjustment. We talk about how close it was. Just sit De'Aaron Fox down, put Dylan Harper in the game. They win the series. Even when Wemby playing the way he playing, if Dylan Harper gets more playing time, they win the series. They win the series, bro. They win the series, bro.
Wemby is a better scorer, bro. Point blank. The man, like, he's 7'4", he has 24. Okay. For real, like with Javon beating the death about it. I'm actually with him now. Watching Wemby, bro, he couldn't score, and Brunson could. That was a difference. Brunson was terrible in game 1, but he showed up at the end of the game. Brunson got buckets. That last game we just saw, the Knicks were trash, But Brunson was getting buckets. Wemby was not getting buckets, bro. Or his best game was when he caught like 10 lobs. He was not getting buckets in series. He was not. So like that's Wemby need to up his offensive game. If he and the reason why I'm hard on Wemby because what I think of Wemby and what he think of himself. The man act like he the GOAT already for real.
Mm-hmm.
So get yourself an offensive bag and maybe you will win next year.
Well, speaking of Wemby, hey, listen, we pretty much already talking about it. So we might as well fully go over to that side. We got to ask the question after everything we just said about Wemby, everything we just seen. I mean, Joe might have already just kind of answered this question in an extended version with the last topic, but did the NBA Finals hurt Wemby's image in your eyes, Joe?
I mean, I think it kind of did. Like, look, number one, it hurt his image on and off the court.
I feel you.
On and off. Yeah. It's about off the court first. He did all that talking, man. Now, we probably disagree right here, but I hated the fact that he shook nobody's hand. It is so easy to not shake somebody's hand versus actually shaking somebody's hand. People think that's weak. No, it's hard to do that. It's hard to lose and congratulate the guy who beat you. It's easy to walk off. That's easy to do. That's easy. That's a coward move to me. That's like you ducking the wreck. But real people that want to feel the fire, I'm gonna go over there and congratulate him. And you saw Jalen Brunson. As soon as the buzzer went off, he walked towards Wemby's way to give him and his coach a handshake. Wemby just walked off the court. I did not like that. And then he goes to the press conference. And not one time he said, great job about the Knicks. Great job. He always only talked about we dominated. We did this. We should have that. He sounds so arrogant and not humble. And when you're not humble, pride, hey, look, pride fall. I'm messing up with the scripture. Pride comes before the fall. It does. So you can't be proud. You gotta be humble. Kobe, like you said, job's not finished. He over here crying and stuff. Bro, it's the Western Conference Finals. Your goal is to win the NBA championship, and I'm for celebrating because you gotta celebrate everyone, not just in the playoffs, even in the regular season. I'm cool with people winning in the regular season and celebrating because you never know when you're gonna play again. You want to celebrate every victory you get. I'm all for that. But when the next day comes, move forward. But he celebrated with the NBA championship and how he came out, I didn't like. So his image off the court got tainted. And on the court, it definitely did. It proved that he's not as elite people say he is. Javon said it on the R2L show. He said the alien is more human than you think. And that's true. Like I know I was just ready to give him the lead. I was like, man, it's when I'm ready to give it to him. You know what I mean? But he got exposed in this series. He really got exposed. So, but at the center of that, AJ, I mean, the man about to turn up though. I mean, he about to come into next year and he about to go crazy, bro. Because one thing I will say about Wemby, he got it up here. He hungry. He wants to be great. Like AJ, I remember we won game one against the Mavs. The man put out a bag against AD. I'm like, whoa, he looked way better from last year in game one. I can only imagine how he's going to look next year. He's going to go to work because he has a goal of being great. So did I do think? Yeah, I think that his stock went down. But I think when the season start again, I think the first week and a half, we're going to be like, yeah, this dude different, bro. This man on another level. So I still think he's going to come out and be the best player in the league next year.
I think that you kind of said it, but we disagree when it comes to the on the court. Off the court, I agree. Like, to not shake Jalen Brunson's hand, to not shake the coaching staff hands. DeAndre or Draymond Green got a quote out right now on his podcast that I really like. He said, shake your killer's hand. Look your killer in the eye. And give him props and just be back. Brunson ain't going nowhere. The Knicks ain't going nowhere. You might not see them again in the finals, but you'll get a shot to play them again. You'll see them guys again, and there'll be somebody else in your way that you got to get through. So use it as a learning experience. Go shake their hand and move on and give props where it's due. Again, that goes back to what I was saying, though. They didn't do it all series long. You didn't really hear them give the Knicks any credit all series.
Yeah, you said that, yeah.
Like all series. Like at every turn, we determine the outcome of these games. Yeah, I mean, we won one. We expect to win the next 4 or the next 3. Like that's how he was talking. And it's like for a team that gave up multiple double-digit leads, you would think after the 3rd lead and gave up, like, yo, we gotta give these boys credit. They got, at the very least, they got a whole bunch of heart. They got more heart than we experienced in any team we played, because a lot of teams would have folded, but this team just keep fighting back, and that's a problem. They got legs when we don't. They make shots when we don't. They make plays, they make adjustments when we don't. Give credit where it's due. On the court, though, it's hard for me because Wemby did give you 26 and 11. And at the end of the day, I know it wasn't a very efficient 26 and 11, but he did give you 26 and 11. And from time to time, his defense was felt on the floor. I have a hard time looking at this series and not thinking about the big picture. And I think that's my biggest issue. I think if you just focus on the question, did the NBA Finals hurt Wemby's image? You can say yes. But if you look at things in its totality and understand this is his 2nd or 3rd year in the NBA, he's 22 years old. His first ever opportunity at going to the playoffs, he in the NBA Finals. Kobe didn't do that. MJ didn't do that. It's a lot of different legends you could point to that they first year in the playoffs, they was one and done, or they was conference finals, or they was second round and up out of there. And Wemby not only got to the finals, he took out the defending champs on the way there.
Yeah.
And so it was a long road for him to get to where he got. He dominated multiple games throughout the postseason to get to that point. He ran up against an extremely tough matchup where he was outmatched and his damn coach was outcoached. And I think it put him in a position, and I'm harping on that one. And it put him in a position to where he was not able to be his best self. Like you said before, I think next season Wemby's gonna come back better than ever. I think he's gonna come back clean. I think he's gonna come back balling. But like watching that entire series, bro, it's just so Wemby was Wemby, and we expect so much from Wemby because, like you said, a lot of people saying he got the potential to be the GOAT and all this other stuff. But Wemby is just a part of what makes the Spurs what they are. Them guards got a lot to do with their greatness too. And that coach who had a great, and I hate to harp on him so much, but he had a great regular season. He coached great throughout the playoffs. It's just in this finals, he was nowhere to be found. And so I just think that it's a lot of players that go through this bump. And I think ultimately when it comes down to it hurting his image on the court, it's still not like the reason why it's hard for me to say like concrete that it hurt is because kind of what you said about the Brunson conversation, he won the trophy and you still kind of feel the same way about him. With Wemby, it still ain't too many bigs in the league I'm taking over Wemby right now. With how he just played. Like I still like the only one I'll probably take over him right now without having to think too deep into it is Jokic. That's the only one I'm like, yeah, give me Jokic. Outside of Jokic, out of the bigs in the league,
now give me Wemby.
I mean, even so it's like in that way, how much did it actually hurt you? Off the court, it hurt a lot, but on the court, I mean, it's still Wemby. He just had it was a tough matchup, a tough series, and we all know he's gonna be back. So it's tough.
Let me ask you this.
I think to answer the question, I think it hurt him off the court, not as much on the court.
So if you ask me before the season started, now the season is over, did his image get tainted? I would say no. But if you ask me before the finals started, your thoughts of him when the finals when they beat OKC, how you looked at Wemby and how you look at him now, I look at him worse. Because after they beat OKC, I was like, bro, about to be a champion. Like, it's a wrap. Like, it's his league. I came on live and said, it's Wemby's league. I don't even know if SGA going to have an opportunity again. That's what I said. Because Wemby going to be in his way. And now after the finals, I'm like, maybe SGA got a little chance. I mean, I don't know. We're going to see. But go ahead.
But see, you saying this, not to go back to an earlier topic, but you saying this is more reason to give JB credit. It's like, yo, you took out a guy who we thought was just going to take over the league.
He
Yeah,
get
I mean,
credit.
for
He
his
get
race,
credit.
I just had to.
Yeah, my
throw that
whole
back
thing
there,
was I agree with you with the credit thing. And back to the handshaking thing. I remember watching The Last Dance, and when Michael Jordan beat the Pacers in Game 7, Larry Bird was the coach. He waited for Michael Jordan in the locker room. I don't know if they shook hands on the court, but he did wait for him to come out the locker room and shake his hand. Karl Malone and John Stockton lost the NBA Finals for the second time to Michael Jordan. They went on his bus to congratulate him. What? Bro, you know how hurtful it is, bro? Like, you got to go, like, where MJ at? I got to give him his prop. They went on the bus and shook his hand, bro. That's like, it's not, I get it, you want to win, but y'all all play in the same league. You got to give them, like you said, respect your opponent, man. They earned the right to be here. And then when you lose, you just look stupid. You know what I mean? Because you want the same respect. You want the same respect. You're going to feel like you're going to be mad at the person when they ain't doing that for you. So you gotta like him walking over. Now, I hope I ain't hear nothing get announced, but I don't think he met them like De'Aaron Fox. They all followed Wemby. Wemby walked off and everybody followed him. And De'Aaron Fox like, nah, bro, I gotta go talk to Mike, bro. He went over there and talked to Mike himself. Like, he a veteran. Dylan Harper walked off the court. I'm like, Dylan Harper, turn around, bro. Go doubt them. I was like, Dylan Harper, don't follow this dude. They all following Wemby because he's a leader. I know he's only 22, but he is a leader. So, but I'm with you. If you ask me before the season starts, no, I look at him even better. But before the finals, I'm like, dang, I had higher hopes for him, but he kind of underperformed, in my opinion. So that's how I think.
That's fair. That's fair. Like I was saying, it's hard for me to just think about the finals and not think about the full picture with him leading up. But like, if we just talking the finals, It wasn't, he had to. For me, it wasn't even the statistics. It wasn't even him not having the go-to move. Them two pivotal moments in this series, where he threw that ball off of Stephon Castle's back, and when he missed them 2 free throws in Game 4, was 2 moments where it just looked like the lights were too bright, and that's something that we hadn't seen from Wemby. He always performed under the lights, and in them 2 moments, he looked like, dang, Wemby looked like he choking a little bit out here. Like what was that? The Castle play was like, bro, Stephon Castle looked back at you, wanted the ball at first, didn't get it, and just said, all right, Wemby go bring the ball up. The coach, in my opinion, should have called a timeout. But in that case, I wasn't as hard on him because he like, hey, it's a tie game. It's a tie ball game. Go get it. You know what I mean? We're gonna let y'all run. The Knicks defense ain't set up. They reeling. Wemby got the ball in his hand. Go. And he goes and turns the ball over. And then, like I said, in the worst way, it ain't like he got stripped. He threw it off the back of his teammate, trying to get the ball out of his hands. Like, I don't want the ball right here moment. Like, I don't want this, huh? Like, it wasn't like you're open. It was I don't want the ball type of moment. And then he missed the shot to end the game, to ice the game, right? Missed the shot for the game, and then you followed that with them two missed free throws in Game 4 after you telling Mitchell Robinson, I'm in your head and all of this other stuff. I mean, man, those 2 moments for me are what stick with me more than anything. Because it's something to be, and I say this all the time in sports, there's something to be said for it factor. There's something to be said for clutch gene. He gonna get a go-to move. That's gonna happen, right? He's gonna improve offensively. That's gonna happen. But you got to get that clutch it factor too. You got to close games. You can't have too many of those meltdowns or critical moments at this point in the postseason and in the NBA Finals. You just can't. And if that's the type of player you are, if that's who you are, that ain't gonna change. Sometimes it's like Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper is that. It's in Dylan Harper. That's just who he is. He ain't had too many moments like that. You saw who he was from start to finish. Now, sometimes we saw Brian have some meltdown moments too. Sometimes over the course of time, right, you go through enough and that thing, it builds up inside of you, and eventually you get to that point. Other guys come into the game, Kobe had it, MJ had it, We're going to see over time with Wemby if he gets it. But right now, he ain't got it, and that's what stands out to me more than anything.
Yeah, and Detroit didn't shake Jordan's hand, and what happened after that?
Right. They didn't like that. And then he wasn't on Dream Team.
Exactly. And he didn't get back to the finals or nothing. It was a wrap for his career after that. They broke up and all that stuff. And they were old. Them boys were the Knicks age right now. The age the Knicks are right now, that's what them boys were back then. They weren't even that old. They have been running into the finals a lot though, so I give them that. But let's move on to our last topic, AJ, and it's still on the Spurs, man. The betting odds came out early, and they got the Spurs as the favorites to win the championship. And it's crazy because I feel like the loser always become the favorite. Like you look at the NFL, the Rams were the favorite after the Super Bowl was over. It's like, what the heck? The Rams. You know what I mean? Like the team that everybody feel like should have won always become the favorite. So the Spurs are the favorite next year. Now, AJ, do you agree with this? Should they be the favorites to win?
Man, it's tough for me because I think Wemby is going to take a step. But I'm not going to lie to you. The team that stands out on that, as I look right now, the Spurs are at the top.
Sega.
I'm looking at that team right underneath. I'm looking at OKC again. I ain't gonna lie. I'm looking at OKC again because, again, my take on that series, if J-Dub play, I think they win. I think that OKC is going to make some sort of moves this offseason. And even if they don't, I think at the very least, I think they'll be healthy and determined to get back to the top of the mountain. And so it's hard for me to say that the Spurs should be the favorite, even though I expect the Spurs to take a step and to make some moves of their own. If I had to pick a champion right now for 2026, I'd probably put my money on OKC before I put it on San Antonio. That's just kind of my quick take on that. I don't like the fact that the Knicks are where they are, kind of was at fourth on there. But then again, I mean, you can make an argument the Celtics make a deeper run of JB if Jalen Brown is healthier, or I'm sorry, Jason Tatum is healthier, and is able to play. And Giannis is gonna throw all of this off whack because he ain't staying in Milwaukee, unfortunately. So I'm not mad at the Spurs being a favorite because I think we all expect Wemby to take a massive step forward. I think those young guys will improve. I don't think De'Aaron Fox will be there next season, which is gonna get them other guys even more of an opportunity to step up and perform. But listen. Hey, my Lakers ain't, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't sleep on Luka, and I know what I just said about him. You know what I mean? But listen, Luka gonna be back in the mix, healthy. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, but I know Luka back in the mix. And listen, bro, like I have yet to experience a Luka playoff run where he is 100% himself. The first playoff run, he was okay, but he got sick one of the games and wasn't able to beat himself. It was injured throughout that playoff series. And then last series, no, this was for the Lakers. When they went up against Minnesota. Yeah. They went up against Minnesota. Well, he was healthy, but he got sick one of the games, and that kind of swayed the series. It was game 3. We lost game 1. Minnesota won game 1. We won game 2. Luka balled out. Then game 3, he had some type of flu or something like that. We lost game 3. No, take that back. It was game. It was one of them games. It was either game 2 or a game 3 or game 4. He had the flu. He was sick. He had flu-like symptoms, and that's the game where LeBron went off for like 38, and we lost. And then I expected more from Luka the next game, and he didn't really give us much the next game either. So I have yet to get the Luka experience in the postseason that I've gotten in the regular season. I've seen it. I just haven't gotten in it in the postseason. So I'm not ruling us out. Now, I'm not saying we should be favored over the Spurs. I'm not going to say all that. But what I am saying is my Lakers finna be back, man. You know what I mean? So I'm not sleeping on them. But I would say OKC should be the favorite out of the Western Conference.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the Spurs being favorite because they just went to the finals, and they are a young team. You know, and that's including the coach. Like they all should get better. But that's what we always say. They should get better. But Dylan Harper is a rookie. I mean, the man just got drafted. Like he's a rookie. He's going to a second year. Wemby is going to get better. Stephon Castle is going to get better. They all K Johnson going to get better. They all are young, so we just expect them to get better. But I'm with you with OKC. After what we just saw, we got to say OKC because they were hurt this year. And they got the best. They got the Howie of the NBA. They got the best GM in the NBA. They got a lottery pick. So they're going to do something this summer to make this team better. So I expect them to get better roster-wise. And the MVP losing to this team, with being man down, I think you got to say, I mean, OKC is going to be the favorite, but I am not mad at the Spurs being a favorite. But it's disrespect to the Knicks how we're not even bringing them up. You know what I mean? So, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I mean, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, it's tough. Nothing but respect for the Knicks, but it's tough to see them do it again.
It
I
was
think
just
it's
like
gonna
it was
be
just it was just like it was just one of them years, bro. Like
the stars aligned. It was 53 years.
yeah,
They got hot at the right time because they didn't look like this in regular season.
it
They got
reminded me like
hot.
it reminded me of when the Saints won the Super Bowl. It was like
Yeah.
it was just their year. You know what I
Yep.
mean? They had Katrina a few years back, and you just wanted
Mhm.
like the whole world was rooting for them. And that's
Yep.
how I felt with the Knicks. Like everybody was just
Everybody
rooting for
was
the
rooting
Knicks,
for him.
bro.
Yep. Shout out Cat. I should have worn my Wolves hat, but shout out Cat. He got him one. He
Hey,
got
shout
him
out to Jeff T, Cat,
one.
uh, and
Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins. Shout out,
Mhm.
they all
Yep.
got rings. Jimmy
Yep.
Butler, what's up?
Right. Jimmy Butler had all that to say. He the one without one.
I know
That
everybody
sucks.
got.
That
People,
sucks.
people forget Zach LaVine was on that team too. I
Oh
don't want to
yes.
mention him though. Yeah,
Yep.
he was
Yep.
supposed to be the point guard. Like, that team
Yeah,
was
that
great.
wasn't gonna work. That wasn't
You
gonna work.
know.
Mm-mm.
But great show, my boy. Great show. I know we went, over the time, but hey, it was worth it. You know what I mean? We
Mhm.
had, some back and forth, which was just healthy, So
Yes, sir.
I want my last word. I want to say shout out to everybody on the R2L network. Shout out to everybody on the R2L family. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in and watching from timeout for timeout. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in and watching the R2L. And we just appreciate everybody in the comment section. Y'all were involved heavy in this episode, and we appreciate y'all. Shout out to Tomo for pulling up, Kev for pulling up too. You know what I mean? So we appreciate y'all. Yeah, you got to strike right irons. I get, but I want to give a couple of shout outs. Number one, my Nats, AJ, my
Mm.
Washington Nationals. We won. Four series straight. You know what I mean? The Nats right now are in the playoff picture for the first time since they won the championship. Number
Wow.
one offense in baseball right now. I mean, it's just a good time to be a Nats fan. I made the right decision in the right time. I became a Nats fan last year. You know what I mean? Off season. So I'm gonna go for the
I feel
Nets.
that.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
why not the Yankees? Blah, blah, blah. Now you see why. We are excited to watch.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now the pitching is not where it's at, but it's getting better. We're getting better, right?
Right.
That's number one.
Right.
Number two, shout out to the World Cup. I've been locked in. I've been locked
Mm.
in with the World Cup. Messi had 3 goals, had a hat trick. Mbappe had 2 goals. Holland had 2 goals. But Ronaldo, what's up, right? I mean, I heard you on your LeBron move. You spend $1 million a year the last 4 years to get your body right for this tournament, and you go scoreless, bro. Y'all lose. Y'all tied. I mean, y'all tied in our first game. Come on, bro. You gotta do better than that. After the night after Messi scores a hat trick, he has 0.
Mm.
So that's that.
Right.
Commanders. I'm watching all the videos. I'm boy Jane Daniel. I ain't worried about last year. That's what he signed. I ain't focused on last year. We focused on this year. You know what I mean? Brandon Ayuk still throwing tantrums. So I you know what I mean? Like Eric, he said, you still want them? I do. I still want them. Now, there's a player that we got in the offseason, AJ. I think he's gonna be a big X factor on that team offensively, and his name is Chick, the tight end for the Titans last year. Well, he got a lot of speed. I'm hearing a lot of noise about him in the training camp, so just watch out for him. And I'm so curious about what the defense is gonna do. We made a lot of moves. Now, a lot of moves we made, there are a lot of like backups, or second best players. We didn't get a best player from a team. And with Sonny Styles in the middle, they saying he's playing like everybody's speaking highly of him too. But ain't no pads on right now, so we don't know what's up. But I'm just excited to see what's gonna happen with this whole season with us. And tomorrow, make sure you got tune in to the R2L show. AJ, we're doing an NFL draft.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
sir,
NFL all-time draft. So I think we kind of talked about it backstage before. But we're gonna announce it tomorrow and make it official. And lastly, R2L Day is this weekend. All right. So if you are in the DMV area, make sure you pull up. The info is on the IG. Make sure you follow us on IG at Refuse to Lose Sports. And the flyer is up. You know what I mean? And we're gonna be in the DMV area. It's gonna be on the 20th. We're gonna have a basketball tournament. Unfazed is on the same team, so we're looking to get that dub.
Mm-hmm.
we played we played team Tomo and Mr. RBO over there, you know what I mean, and Mr. in the red corner Ricky. I mean, they got a lot of guys over there, you know what I mean. We got face. So looking forward to that matchup and looking forward to the other matchup too, because there's been a lot of talk in the chat. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody play. But that's all I got, AJ. I'm looking forward to seeing my guy AJ.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody watching from home, everybody on the R2O channel, everybody on my channel, Timeout or Full Timeout. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I had to grab the wife's laptop and we up and running. Yeah, I mean, we up and running, man. I want to give a couple shout outs as well myself, man. First and foremost, them birds. It's been a lot of talk, man. And I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I've sat back, man. I've sat back. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't on AJ's birds, I ain't said much. I'm letting everybody say what they want to say about my quarterback and letting everybody say what they want to say about my receiving core. I'm letting everybody see what they want to say. Yes, I'm letting everybody say what they want to say about my head coach, about everybody. I'm letting it be said. But I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes. Because when the season start, we going to remember these narratives. We going to remember this ain't a super team no more. We going to remember they not going to be the same without A.J. Brown. We going to remember this going to be Hurts last year in Philadelphia. We going to remember Devontae Smith. He the only guy that can create separation on that route. We going to remember all of these things that's been said. And we going to bring them up when the Eagles is balling. Because I don't want to hear, whoa, y'all got Mekhi Living. Whoa, y'all always had 2-6 coming out of the backfield. Y'all always had Saquon. I mean, Dallas Goddard's still there. I mean, look at Quinyon and look at Cooper DeSheen and look at Jalen. I'm not going to try to hear none of that because I've been telling y'all this team is still going to be that team even without A.J. Brown. I've been telling y'all we still that without A.J. Brown. So the season is, my quarterback, he's smiling a lot these days. He's looking happy. Amongst all of the chaos, one thing I give Jalen Hurts credit for, that man is a true professional. That man always take the high road. He don't clap back at nobody. The media gave him an opportunity this past week to respond to a lot of this stuff. He said, no comment. No, did you call the last play? No, I didn't. But, they give me an opportunity to say something. I've decided not to. True professional. I'm locked in on winning games. Anything else y'all talking about don't matter to me. That's my quarterback. What T.O. say? That's my quarterback. Okay. That's my quarterback. I rock with my dog. Okay. So that's first. Lakers, number 2, make some moves. Make some moves. You bring back Bron. If that's what y'all gonna do, that's what y'all gonna do. But please make some moves. That's all I got to say. I brought the Lakers up, right? But the fact that I had to laugh when I brought the Lakers up is a problem because there's a bit of doubt in there. Okay, I need that doubt to be gone. Okay, so make some moves so we're back in contention. And I also want to give a shout out to the UFC. Now, it was a lot of stuff going on with the White House card. I thought it was a lot of underlying racism, in the commercials and stuff like that. But if we just talk about the fights, oh my goodness. That's the best fight card I ever seen. That's the best card I have ever seen. Every fight on the main card ended in a TKO or knockout. The most, that card was sensational, I must say. Shout out to Gaethje, shout out to the Poirier, shout out to Sugar. That's my favorite fighter right now in UFC. Like, that was a show. I'm not gonna lie. That was amazing. That was something right there. And last but not least, you said it, Joe. It's time. RTL weekend is here, man. It's time. Yeah, I got one more day at work, then I'm on a flight. I'm on the plane. So I'm just right now. As soon as we get off, I'm about to just wrap it up. Just get in the bed. My goal just got to get through the mall. I got a long day. You know what I mean? But if I could just get through it, you know what I mean? That next morning I'm on the flight. You know what I mean? I'm going to kick it with the family first always. And I'm going to kick it with my guys, meet everybody for the first time. And I'm telling everybody now, right? We're going to meet at B-Dubs. We're going to hi, Kiki, have a drink. Hey, how y'all doing? Where you from? Here's my wife. Come game day, Stoneface. Ain't nothing what we talking about. We talked the night before. It's Stoneface. It's time to go kill. It's been a lot of talking. You know what I mean? For me, it's been built up for a whole year. For a whole year, it's been a whole lot of AJ ain't this, AJ ain't that, AJ ain't this, AJ coming to play, bro. So I'm just AJ, bruh, AJ coming to play, and I ain't gonna say that again. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming to hoop. So we're gonna see how I go, man. Go team Joe. We coming for the medals. Okay, we coming for the medals. I just want to say that, man. But like usual, man. Actually, not like usual, because this is new. This year, Team Joe got me feeling unfazed.
Unfazed. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.